Hey guys, Steve Welch here, Beeman Toyota in Nashville. Sitting on a pre-owned Tacoma here. There's a reason I wanted to do this. So you guys have undoubtedly heard that the 2024 Toyota Tacoma is going to be a complete redesign. Most likely will be a complete home run for Toyota without fail. There's a reason I'm making this particular video and the way I'm making it though. And it all goes back to the Highlander. And actually there's been several vehicles this has happened to in different ways, right? So the Highlander, they went away from the 6-cylinder engines as of the end of 2022, went to a 4-cylinder turbo. Well, there are some people that don't like change and don't like things that are different, right? So if you don't like change, don't like things that are different, you always want to stay with the same thing. And there were people that went, I didn't know it was changing. I wanted the last of the 6-cylinder. I didn't want the turbo. I didn't want whatever that I didn't want was, right? So what's gonna happen with, undoubtedly, because here's what happened with the Highlander. I had people calling me long after production ended saying, can I get the 6? And I'd have to say yes, and used. You can't get the 6-cylinder in a new Highlander anymore. I know what's gonna happen with these. And you're gonna have people that say, I don't want the turbo, don't like the new body style. Nobody can like everything about a vehicle. That's why there's so many of them. All right, if everybody liked the same thing, they'd make one vehicle, call it a day, right? So you're gonna have a lot of people that will be looking for this truck. So if you own one, good, you're probably gonna have a lot of value in it. But here's the question. All right, so the question is the new one going to be so sought after that the 6-cylinder one loses a touch of the value? Possible, right? Is the new one going to have that turbo issue that some people are scared of it, that raises the value of the 6-cylinder? Possible, right? What's going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. Nobody knows. But if you go over a couple of the numbers, right? So the new one is, let's start with the old one. The old one is a 3.5 liter engine paired with the 6-speed transmission, right? And you got 278 horsepower out of that and 265 foot-pound of torque. The new one, you've got 3 different levels that are in it. So I'm leaving the 4-cylinder out because that's obviously the old body style 4-cylinder is not what we're talking about here. We're comparing the turbo and the 6, right? So the new turbo 4, you've got the SR only is going to have 228 horsepower, 243 foot-pound of torque, and a 2.4 liter engine paired with an 8-speed transmission. That's the base level, right? So the base level is detuned just like what the Tundra base level is. Now, you're going to have an I-Force, which is going to be SR5 and above. That's not in the Max. I'll tell you what the Max is here in a second. But the I-Force is going to have a 2.4 liter engine with 278 horsepower. That number's kind of familiar. That's this guy, 278 horsepower. By the way, you're doing it at, I think it was 1,700 RPM that made that makes it on the new one. You had to get to 6,600 RPM to make that same horsepower on this one. So lower RPM, higher torque. I-Force Max, or I-Force, sorry, that's going to be part of that. So that could pull people to the 4-cylinder, the new engine, that you've got so much torque at a lower end, more power, that more low end, get out the line quicker. That could pull people away from the 6, right? So, like I said, I'm giving you your choices. I'm not telling you your answer. I'm giving you your information. Your answer is your answer. It's not my answer, right? So, but the 278, you're going to have 317 foot-pounds of torque, right? So you go from 265 to 317, but you produce your torque at a lower RPM than what you did in the 6-cylinder. So you've got 278 horsepower in both, right? The current one and the next one, more torque in the other one. It's going to come into play. I think some people will notice that, right? Part of the reason on the Highlander actually went down in horsepower and up in torque. So when you got to the Highlander, you lost 20 horses in the Highlander. I think that played into some people wanting the 6 too, because the horsepower is less even though the torque was more. Why? I mean, that could be it, right? So now they're offering another engine in your new Tacoma, right? You're going to get an iForce Max engine, right? So, and they're all 8-speed transmissions, right? But you're going to get a 2.4 liter iForce Max turbo producing 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. That thing is going to be a monster when it comes to what it is capable of. So let's go back to the premise, right? I'm going to go back to the premise of what I started by sitting on this truck. So you got to consider what you want out of a vehicle and consider what you think is going to happen going forward. So now there are some people that buy a truck, keep it for 2 years, get out of it, buy the next truck, keep it for 2 years, get out of it, 3-year leases, whatever. Whatever you do, your situation could dramatically change the answer to this question. It really could. So here's what could happen. One scenario, right? Scenario number one. People say no to the new turbo. The old Tacoma buyers want the old Tacoma. That sounds like a little jet. Yeah, private jet. Anyway, but they want the old Tacoma. They clamor for the old Tacoma. Everything that's coming out gets a name on it immediately. You can't get anything in the current body style because everybody is buying the current body style. You can't get it. Just you should have got it a couple months ago. That'll probably happen in October, maybe November, right? But I think they're going to stop the build in October. That's just a hunch, but I think they're going to stop the build in October. So let's assume that happens, right? People clamor for it, go for it. You should have got your name on the list now. There you go. Other thing that'll happen is, or scenario number two, is people just wait, completely wait, and don't buy anything now until they can compare them side by side. Sales drop a little bit in the current Tacoma. After everything comes out, everything will kind of hash out. You figure out where you're at, and we'll kind of pick up. You'll have half the people buy the new one, half the people buy the old one, and everything kind of hashes out. There's your scenario number two. I think that's less likely, but that is a scenario. Or you have the opportunity for the third way, where everybody loves the new truck, wants the new truck and everything like that. You held on to your old one waiting for it. Your value is higher now than what it'll be then. You should have sold it before it came out. That's a possibility there. And you see the values on these trucks drop because the new truck is so awesome. That's a scenario. So you pretty much, I mean, that's pretty much the scenarios I see. You know, and when I say it's so awesome, that assumes that people aren't scared of the turbo. And I think that people are getting used to it. It just feels that way to me. I mean, I've gotten used to it, and I was scared of a turbo before I really owned one. So assuming that people stop being scared of the turbo, I personally think that scenario number one or number three is going to be what happens. I think people will clamor for the remaining ones. If you're saying, look, I'm going to get one of the remaining ones here in the next few months, and you think you've got till January, February, March to get one, you're wrong. You're going to be, before the end of the year, they're going to be sold out completely. Southwest? Yeah, American. Okay. Hey, it was worth a shot. But I think that they are going to be sold out before we get to the end of the year. I think they'll be sold out before we get to the end of November. And I don't think they're going to have anything on the ground for that. They're building a lot of them right now, so you can get your name on one. You might want to do that. If you want to wait for the new one, get your name on a list now, because that list is going to get very, very big, very, very quick. So get your name on the list for the 24 now, right, so that you can get one. But I think the middle scenario is probably the least likely. Everybody just wait to see what happens, and then you got a bunch of inventory. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that you'll find that you have a better shot at getting the current body style now than what you're going to have in about 2 months. And if you don't want to wait for 6 months to a year to get the brand new body style because everybody loves it, get on a list now. Pretty much what it is. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think you're going to wait for the new one? Do you think you're going to try to get the old one before it goes out? Do you have one of these things that's one of these used ones like this that's been around for a while and you're just going to keep it? That's an option too, right? So what are you guys going to do? What do you think about the Tacoma? Definitely reach out to me. And you know, if you guys need anything, you guys want to get on the list, Nashville area, buy a Toyota Nashville at yahoo.com. Buy a Toyota Nashville at yahoo.com. And definitely, if you come down to the dealership here, definitely ask for me when you get here. Steve Welch here at Beeman Toyota. You guys have a great day, and I'm going to talk to you guys soon. Let's see what happens with the Tacoma. You guys have a good one. Bye.